Right, just received my why the government believes that voting to remain in the European Union is the best decision for the UK. Lovely, well-produced leaflet. Got to wonder if the same amount of money is going to be given to the people that are campaigning to leave the EU. Apparently David Cameron spent 9.3 million getting these to us. And rumour is that they were printed by a German company. 9.3 million that could have gone to an English company for printing these, Dave. We've got printers all over the place. Just food for thought there, mate. Giving money to Europe, you know. Needlessly giving money to Europe is what I meant. Right, so in these pages you've got one side of a bit of information and then a brief overview with what's written on this side. So I'm just going to go through those overviews very quickly. This is your chance to decide on your own future and the future of the UK. It's important that you vote. There it is, and there's a picture of a calendar. I can't disagree with any of that. It's important that you vote, and there's the date, 23rd of June this year. So, next page. Picture of some men working, and over 3 million UK jobs are linked to exports in the EU. Yes, they are. Britain does foreign trading. We make things, we send it abroad. Other countries make things, they send them here. Are we going to stop shipping things overseas because we leave the EU? I doubt it. People want to buy things from us. That would be like saying that we're going to leave the EU and we're going to stop buying things from them. We're not. We ship things in and out of the country. That happens. India isn't part of the EU. You go in pretty much everyone's house and you'll find something that says Made in India on it. Their trade's running pretty freely. They're not part of the EU. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they've put that in there. Jobs are linked to the EU. Yeah, okay, we ship things in and out of the country. That happens. Right. If the UK voted to leave the EU, the resulting economic shock would risk higher prices of some household goods. Although if we're trading freely with the rest of the world, then logic says that stuff that we buy from outside of the EU, we could probably get at a lower price. So yeah, we would be risking higher prices, but we may also be risking lower prices. And it says risk. What's the likelihood of that risk? It doesn't say if it's a high risk, it doesn't say if it's a low risk. What it does say to me is that they've used a propaganda word. It's risk. But what is the risk? It's not explained. We're going to go on to that next page. Right. A vote to leave could mean a decade or more of uncertainty. And they've got, look, a picture of some industry area right there in the country with some docks. A vote to leave could mean a decade or more of uncertainty. Right, this is pretty much really annoyed me because because the last decade's not been uncertain? Okay, we'll have a look at all the people that work for Woolworths that doesn't exist anymore. Or let's have a look at the steel industry and what's going on with those people at the moment. I believe a lot of our steel contracts have been shipped overseas. Chinese steel seems to ring a bell, or is it Indian? Yeah, there's guys in Wales, Tata Steel. The future's not looking good for them at all. A vote to leave could mean a decade or more of uncertainty. But at the moment, we're within the EU, and things for those people are very uncertain. So, yeah, what's the point? It could mean more uncertainty, but if we stay in, things are already uncertain. I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot, really, with that statement. The next page. The UK is not part of the European border-free zone. We control our own borders. Not specifically true, is it? Not really. Anyone from within the EU, as I understand at the moment, can come and live and work within the UK. And they can do that because we are all part of the EU. They can come here without massive background checks, without visas, things like that. They can come here and work. If you're from outside of the EU, you can't do that. You have to go through a visa system. That is basing preference just on where someone is from. No problem with people coming here to work. If they want to come here and work, cool. People from Britain move overseas, they go and work in those countries. No issue with that at all. But preference shouldn't be based on where you are from. That's racist. If I was to show a difference of opinion on someone, if someone said they were from Africa, for example, and I said, oh, I'm not really sure if I like you, you're from Africa, I want to do some checks on you, I'd be called a racist. The government does that for people coming in the country, and apparently that's not racist. Well, that's bollocks. It's racist. EU membership brings economic security, peace and stability. The EU came about sometime after the Second World War. I don't think there's any uprisings at the minute with any militants within Europe. No one of any concern. There's certainly no Adolf Hitlers around at the moment, not within the EU. Brings about economic security. What, because we weren't economically secure before the EU existed? Yeah, we were. Peace and stability. Peace and stability. There's all sorts going on in Europe at the minute. There's all sorts of things going on around the world. There's lots of countries within the EU. That's not stopping buildings from getting blown up, sadly. I wish it did. But it doesn't. If we leave the EU, are Europe suddenly going to turn on us and want to, and to turn guns on us and launch things across the channel at us again? I very much doubt it. I don't see why us being part of the EU is stopping a world war going off. There are many people out in the world at the moment that are looking at the Western world as an enemy. Europe aren't one of those people. So let's move on. The EU referendum is a big decision for you and your family's future. Yes, it may be. It may affect how freely we can move within the EU if we want to. It may mean that we've got to fill some more paperwork before we go on holiday or before we go travelling. Big whoop. So, to summarise, in this whole leaflet, the front page with the date on, I agree with. The back page that says it's a big decision for you and your family's future, potentially, I agree with that. All of that in the middle it's just propaganda. There is no certainty, there is no definite in any of it. It's just stuff that you're supposed to read and go, oh, well, best stay in. It's borderline nonsense. It's ifs, buts, maybes. There is no certainty in that whatsoever. I'm not buying it. It's rubbish.